everybody, welcome to Storytime with Miss Tia. Hi, I'm Miss Tia, and if you're new here, welcome. If you are not and you've seen my previous video, then welcome back. This is Storytime with Miss Tia, and basically on this channel, I will bring a book to you each week on a particular theme that I chose. And the purpose of this channel is to bring awareness to the many obstacles that we might face today in society, and to also learn how to teach our children the different themes through story time. So each week I will be coming on with a new story, some that I have chosen from my childhood that I enjoyed, and some that I get from my local library. And if you like what you hear, then continue to come share story time with me each week. Hit the subscribe button so that you can subscribe to my channel. Hit the bell so that you'll be notified when I upload. Like, comment, and share the video. And if you like what you hear, please do let me know in the comments. If you have any suggestions for me, please do let me know in the comments, because my goal is to be the best teacher for my children as possible. So any tips, any suggestions, any advice, any motivation that you can possibly give me will be greatly appreciated. So today I will be doing my first book. It's going to be on the theme poverty. The theme actually came from my professor in my teaching class. We are to record ourselves teaching a book on poverty, and the purpose of this is to basically record ourselves and to come back and listen to ourselves to see what we might do differently the next time, and to help gain confidence with us so that when we get into our classrooms, we'll have a better understanding of how we teach our children different themes, and we'll be confident with it. So today I'll be reading a book. It is called Those Shoes. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to read the book first, and then I'm going to come back, and I'll basically just teach you how I'll be teaching my children in my classroom. So, Those Shoes by Maribeth Boltz, and illustrated by Noah Jones. Let me just scoot up a little bit. Those Shoes. Buy these shoes. I have dreams about those shoes. Black high tops, 2 white stripes. Grandma, I want them. There's no room for want around here, just need, Grandma says. And what you need are new boots for winter. Brandon T comes to school in those shoes. He says he's the fastest runner now, not me. I was always the fastest before those shoes came along. Nate comes to school in those shoes. Antonio and I count how many times Nate goes to the bathroom. 7 times in one day, just so he can walk up and down the hallway real slow. Next, Alan, Jacoby, and Terrence each get a pair. Then one day, in the middle of kickball, one of my shoes comes apart. Looks like you could use a new pair, Jeremy, Miss Alfrey, the guidance counselor, says. He brings out a box of shoes and other stuff he has for kids who need things. He helps me find the only shoes that are my size, Velcro, like the ones my little cousin Marshall wears. They have an animal on them from a cartoon I don't think any kid ever watched. When I come back to the classroom, Alan Jacoby takes one look at my Alfred shoes, at my Mr. Alfred shoes, and laughs. And so do Terrence, Brandon T, and everyone else. The only kid not laughing is Antonio Parker. At home, Grandma says, "How kind of Miss Alfred." I nod and turn my back. I'm not going to cry about any dumb shoes. But when I'm writing my spelling words later, every word looks like the word shoes, and my grip is so tight on my pencil I think it might bust. On Saturday, Grandma says, "Let's check out those shoes you're wanting so much. I got a little bit of money set aside. Might be enough, you never know." At the shoe store, Grandma turns those shoes over so she can check the price. When she sees it, she sits down heavy. "Maybe they wrote it down wrong," it says. I say. Grandma shakes her head. Then I remember the thrift shops. What if there's a rich kid who outgrew his or hers and got two pairs on Christmas and had to give one of them away? We ride the bus to the first thrift shop. Black cowboy boots, pink slippers, sandals, high heels, every kind of shoe except the ones I want. We ride the bus to the second thrift shop. Not a pair of those shoes in sight. Around the corner is a third thrift shop. I see something in a window. Black shoes with two stripes, high tops, perfect shape, $2.50. Those shoes. My heart is pounding hard as I take off my shoes and hitch up my baggy socks. How exciting, Grandma says. What size are they? I shove my foot into the first shoe, curling my toes to get my heel in. I don't know, but I think they fit. Grandma nails on the floor and feels for my toes. At the end of the shoe. Oh, Jeremy, she says, I can't spend good money on those shoes, and they don't fit. I pull the other shoe on and try to walk around. They're okay, I say, holding my breath and praying that my toes will not fall off right then and there. But my toes don't fall off. I buy them anyways with my own money, and I squeeze them on and limp to the bus stop. At home a few days later, Grandma puts a new pair of snow boots in my closet and doesn't say a word about my two big feet shuffling around in the two small shoes. Sometimes shoes stretch, I say. Grandma gives me a hug. I check every day, but those shoes don't stretch. I have to wear Mr. Alfrey's to school instead. One day during math, I glance at Antonio's shoes. One of them is taped up and his feet look smaller than mine. After school, I head to the park to think. Antonio is there, the only kid who didn't laugh at me, at my Mr. Alfie shoes. We shoot baskets. A loose piece of tape on Antonio's shoe smacks the concrete every time he jumps. I think I'm not going to do it. We leap off the swings. I'm not going to do it. We race from the end of the playground to the other. I'm not going to do it, I say. Do what? Antonio says, breathing hard. Grandma calls me for supper and invites Antonio over too. After supper, he spies my shoes. How come you don't wear them? Antonio asks. I shrug. My hands are sweaty. I can feel him wishing those shoes were his. That night, I am awake for a long time thinking about Antonio. When morning comes, I try on my shoes one last time. Before I can change my mind, the shoes are in my coat. Snow is beginning to fall as I run across the street to Antonio's apartment. I put those shoes in front of his door, push the doorbell, and run. At school, Antonio is smiling big in his brand new shoes. I feel happy when I look at his feet and mad when I look at my Mr. Alfie shoes. But later, when it's time for recess, something happens. Everywhere there is snow. Leave your shoes in the hall and change into your boots, the teacher announces. Leave your shoes in the hall. It's then that I remember that what I have in my backpack. New boots. New black boots that no kid has ever worn before. Standing in line to go to recess, Antonio leans forward and says, "Thanks." I smile and give him a nudge. Let's race. The end. So that was the first book that I read, called Those Shoes Again. This is a book on poverty. And basically how I teach this book to my class is to basically just let them view the book first. and ask them questions such as, what do you think the book is about? What do you think is happening right here? Do you think that this boy is friends with the other boys? What do you notice about the shoes in this book and on this page? Then I would go ahead and start reading the book. As I read the book, I would look at different words that I think that my children might not know the meaning of. For instance, when we go into the second page, when grandma says, I want them, when I say grandma, I want them, and she says there's no room for wants, only needs, I would explain to my children what wants and needs are. And basically, wants are things that we want just on a regular, like if I say I want a glass of water, or if I say I want some candy, or if I say that I want a new book. But needs are going to be something that are essential, something that you need on a daily basis, something that is important to you. So needs would be something like food. We always want food. We want to make sure that we have some on a daily basis. And just like water or any type of drink, we always want something that we could put liquid in our bodies. So I would then go on and continue reading the book. And I would ask my children, what do you think is happening on this page? And you can see that on this page, basically, he's talking about the shoes and how Brandon T comes to school with the shoes on, and he thinks that he's the fastest person in the school, and how he was once the fastest person. And now I ask my children, how do you think that he feels about the boy having on the other shoes? And why do you think that he doesn't like the shoes that he has on? And then I would continue on reading and see, why does he think that the just shoes that the many other of his friends have on, why does he think that those shoes are so important than those shoes that he has on? I would then explain to him how in the book his grandma basically says that we might not have enough money for the shoes, but I can definitely try and see if we can go to the thrift store and see if we can find them. And then I'll basically, go ahead and ask questions about, what do you think a thrift store is? And if they're able to let me know, then that's fine. If not, then I just basically would let them know that it's a store that has various items in it, coming from electronics, toys, shoes, clothing, and different things that you can find inside your home. And it's basically priced at a lower price, just to help put back in the community of gently used or worn shoes, clothing, and other products. And then I would basically go on and teach a child about how sometimes people come from different backgrounds and they might not have the newest shoe on that other friends might have. And some might have on shoes that are not as flashy as others, but it doesn't take away from what the shoes are here for. Basically, shoes are here for to cover your feet and to provide stability, so that when you're walking, you're able to walk without getting anything on your shoes. On your feet, not cutting your feet up or anything like that. It's basically like a safety measure. So it really doesn't matter what type of shoes you have on, just as long as you have on some. But for some people, the more flashier the shoe is, the more that some might think that they need to have them. But it's really just you wanting them, not really you needing them. What you need are things that are going to help you get through your day, and that's any type of shoe. So I would then go ahead and ask questions about what they thought about the story, anything that they might be feeling about the story, and then any other questions that they might have about the story. And from there, we can build a curriculum or an activity around it that centers around poverty. Maybe, playing cashier and dramatic play and letting them see how much something costs and seeing if they might have a set amount of money based on money that I might give them in the beginning of the game, to see how money works and how value is put on different things. And if you don't have enough for something, you might not be able to get it at that time. And that doesn't necessarily mean that you won't be able to get it ever. That just means that you have to save up to get it. And the way you save up is by collecting money, by doing chores, or by having a job, or by asking people for money. And when you have enough for that particular thing that you might want, then you're able to get it. So thank you for tuning in for this story time with Tia. The name of the book that I read again is called Those Shoes, and it's by Maribeth Boltz and illustrated by Noah Jones. And this theme this week was on poverty. So thank you for joining me, and I hope to see you again next week for another book. Bye.